actually going to get the most out of an 8K 360-degree drone, and who would be better off putting their money toward a more conventional camera rig? Is the Antigravity A1 Explorer worth the price tag for the everyday hobbyist, or does it belong in the hands of a handful of enthusiasts who can really squeeze the immersive footage out of it? Those are the questions that keep most of us scrolling past the glossy ads and wondering if the hype is justified. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. I've spent the last couple of weeks borrowing the A1 Explorer from a friend, putting it through a weekend of park flights, family gatherings, and a short hike up a local trail. The whole point of this review is to walk you through that experience so you can decide whether this is the drone you should add to your bag, or if you should keep looking. First off, the biggest draw of the A1 is the true 360 immersive flight claim. Most consumer drones give you a narrow field of view, then you have to stitch footage later if you want a spherical perspective. The A1 actually carries a 360 camera that records a full sphere in a single shot at 8K resolution. In practice, that means when I lifted off from the edge of a lake, I could swing the drone around and capture the water, the shoreline, and the sky all in one continuous frame. The footage looked exactly like what you'd expect from a professional VR rig, but without the need for multiple lenses or post-production stitching. That level of immersion is a huge practical strength if you're planning to create VR tours, travel videos that let viewers look around, or even just a unique family memory that feels like you're there again. The fly first, frame later philosophy that Antigravity pushes actually works because the drone's motion control is intuitive enough that you can focus on moving through the space instead of worrying about where to point a camera. The point-to-fly motion control lets you tap a spot on the phone screen, and the drone will navigate there while keeping the camera pointed toward the center of the sphere. For a first-time user, that takes a lot of the anxiety out of trying to line up a perfect shot. However, the same immersive capability can become a hidden trade-off if you don't need 360 footage. The A1 is 249 grams, which keeps it under the FAA registration threshold in the US, and that makes it easy to carry around. But that ultralight design also means the battery life is limited to about 39 minutes under ideal conditions. In real-world use, especially when you're fighting wind or doing a lot of maneuvering, I was seeing about 2,530 minutes per charge. The bundle includes 3 batteries, which helps mitigate the short flight time, but you still need to schedule battery swaps if you're planning a longer session. Obstacle avoidance is another area where the drone shines, at least on paper. The omnidirectional sensors do a decent job of keeping the A1 from bumping into trees or walls when you're flying in a cluttered environment. I tested it in a dense pine forest, and the drone automatically slowed down and rerouted around trunks without any manual input. The downside is that the system can be a little jittery at higher speeds. If you're trying to chase a moving subject, say, a cyclist on a trail, the avoidance algorithm will sometimes overcorrect, making the drone wobble and lose a smooth cinematic feel. For a casual flyer who just wants to hover and capture a panorama, that's fine. For a serious videographer who needs buttery smooth tracking, you might find it limiting. One of the most talked about features is the Auto Editing 2.0 suite. After you land, you upload the raw 8K footage to the Antigravity app and it automatically stitches together a 360 video, adds basic color correction, and even suggests highlight reels based on motion. For me, the biggest practical benefit was the speed at which I could produce a shareable clip. Within 10 minutes I had a polished 2-minute VR video ready to upload to YouTube. That said, the editing tools are still fairly basic. If you want granular control over transitions, sound design, or advanced color grading, you'll have to pull the footage into a dedicated editor anyway. Now, who should actually consider buying this bundle? If you're a content creator who wants to dip their toe into 360 video without investing in a bulky rig, the A1 is a solid entry point. Its weight makes it travel-friendly, the auto-editing cuts down on post-production time, and the omnidirectional obstacle avoidance lowers the risk of a crash in typical urban or park settings. The 3-battery bundle also makes a day trip feasible, as long as you're okay with swapping batteries a couple of times. On the flip side, the A1 isn't the best fit for a few groups. First, anyone who already owns a high-end 4K or 5.7K camera drone and primarily shoots traditional footage will likely find the 360 format more of a novelty than a necessity. Second, professional filmmakers who demand